Alrighty. Well, look at this cinematic shot I just found. I was here just taking a quick look at this scrim, um, but now I'm going to record my little analysis. When you skip back
Ready for
10
battle.
seconds at the beginning of the match, you get this very beautiful little shot, and I thought it was very nice. So I guess I'd start off that way. In any case, welcome. It's back for another day of some scrim analysis. And it really is a beautiful day today. It's happy Monday for us. Now we'll see what went on this scrim that was most recent to this video. Let's check. Let's see. On 6/6, so just 2 days ago, really. It feels like ages ago that that was posted.
Are you scared? Don't be
In any
scared.
case, so let's look at our comp for Blizzard World offense. So Blizzworld is, as you know, a map with a lot of high ground in it for at least the first point, and the second
Attackers
point, and
incoming.
even a little bit of the third, but not so much that one.
Scared.
There's just a
Don't
lot of
be scared.
varying terrain by height, so we have to be aware of this because comps they could run and comps they are running in this scrim or in this round are particularly effective on the high ground. And the comp that we have right now, Ryan Zarya, we have May McCree, yeah,
Don't be
May McCree
scared.
on
Don't be
Lucio.
scared. Don't be
So
scared. Are you
we
scared?
have to identify as per usual. Well, it's not something that we just need to identify. We need to recognize personally, like what role does our May fulfill in this comp, or does our Lucio fulfill? And think about these things as we're running these compositions, and don't feel afraid to ask either for like,
Five,
can I get some insight onto
four,
it, because it's not very
two,
straightforward.
three.
So let's look at their comp first before we look at ours. So they're running Rein Zarya, so they have a front line and they can sort of brawl pretty well. They have Lucio Zen, which is a strangely low healing comp, but for the DPS they have Widow and Doomfist. This is really quite interesting. I mean, why would it be that they run a Rein Zarya with a Lucio Zen? Like, shouldn't they lose the brawl? And this is sort of our thinking. Wouldn't they lose the brawl here? Well, yes. And that's why what you're going to see them do, if there's one thing this comp says to me, with the Zenyatta Discord, with Widow always watching sightlines and things like that, and pestering people from above, even outright killing them if they're out of position, and Doomfist to displace you out of position, well, sort of displacing you and isolating a target and getting them out in the open is a big priority for this team. What they're going to be aiming to do with this Doomfist, and I know you can't sort of see this from spawn, but if we lose the first team fight, we should sort of regroup and think about these things individually. So what they want to do is push
Two,
you out of position,
one.
maybe into Widow's sight lines,
Attackers
so that
incoming.
they can pick off one of us
Defend
very quickly,
objective
one or
A.
a few of us very quickly. And Discord can aid with all sorts of things of that. That said, also they just have a very ooh, Zen almost died. A very interesting composition. I kind of like it a little bit. So now for our comp. So we're running Ryan Zarya on a Lucio, and we have May McCree. So this comp does want to brawl, but we're also okay at playing from around a mid-range, which is really useful. So things that you might see from this team, and I don't know if I'm expecting too much of them, is for Doomfist to uppercut somebody or try and punch somebody either into a wall or out of our formation into the open. Like, say, if we push right side, Doomfist may want to drop down here and punch somebody out here, or maybe even out here, uppercut them so that they're like in here, so Widow can shoot them, they get discorded, stuff like that. That's a possibility, and that's something that this comp certainly excels at. Our comp, however, is really good at playing a nice, slow mid game. So slow mid-range game, I should say. Um, we shouldn't try to rush anything, I don't think, on this comp, because on their side, these guys lose a sustained tank duel because they don't have a lot of healing. They can only really run and hope that their Widow or their Doom gets picks for them. So what we're going to want to do is play very, very tight together, very slow. There's no rush. There's no rush. So you have to be careful here in Widow's sight lines. I think at this point, we probably can see the Doomfist as we're entering. Let's see. Yep, there he is. So one of us can probably see him. Yeah, even Kaiju. So if this Doomfist is going to be playing, well, as an annoyance, and he really is, we have to think about how we can sort of shut him down. And this is, again, an individual thing. Can your character shut Doomfist down? Is it Ryan's job to stun Doomfist and destroy him? Probably not. Is it Lucio's job? Yeah, actually, he can do that a little bit. Like, he can help with boops and stuff. But aside from that, there's not much he can do. Can Zarya? Well, Zarya can bubble his target. Mei can't really do a lot besides damage him. McCree's got a hard CC that can stop all of his main types of damage, which is really useful. So in general, what you should take away from this is thinking about how your characters can sort of counter or play against, provide counterplay to the enemy team's characters, which is very important. So we're taking a rotation behind them, which I think I like, because it forces the Widow to play perhaps unconventional sightlines. Now Widow is going to play either from here, this high ground by rotation, or this high ground. So no matter where she is, she might have a place to escape if we just don't outright kill her, which is somewhat unlikely, but not impossible. So we really shouldn't worry about the Widow in these fights if she's got these places to run to that's like so close and so easily. If we worry about anyone, it should probably be about the front line or Doomfist. So Doomfist is going for a punch here. I don't know if we had to wall him off there. I appreciate the safety, but I think wall is better used on their front line. And we have all of our, we haven't used Sleep Dart, we haven't used, well, Kree Flashbang, that's what it is. We haven't used Bubble yet, or anything like that, so if anything, we can sort of invite him in and see if he really wants to commit to a punch. Because if he goes in there, it might take them a second to try and save him, which they may not be able to do. So we're choosing to take the fight from this angle. And, well, as you can see, yes, Widow's rotated back here. And they've sort of set up their team comp to be able to play here. So, again, there's really no rush to get on point here. And this is why I say that. Had we been holding our shield up on the front here, and this is just my opinion, if we take a slow fight and we try to identify some sort of goal. So on the way in, we saw that they had a Doomfist, and right now we're seeing that they have a Widow on gate. It's probably a good idea to at least come up with some sort of plan, even though they might be different individually, for how this fight is going to go, and we did. This is why we're sort of rushing in with Kaiju Volatile and Splat in the front line, and Panda's going up here, and we're taking the high ground. But unfortunately, well, I think we had a different plan here on the Ana. We got sniped out by Zen, which was, it seemed to just mostly be, like, unlucky. He was sort of firing an angle, and that was rough. So yeah, no shields. We're going for a nade. Connects on the Zarya, but we just get shot out by the Zen there. So, this is a weird sort of fight. Let's keep seeing how it plays out. Splat dies, unlucky. We get the Widow, which is pretty good. So I think this is a lost fight at this point. So I think what the problem is, or what the situation is with this sort of team, is we can roll over them if we try and goats them. But they might punch us and CC us and do things that might make it really hard to allow for that, to really try and steamroll them. So I think what we have to do is try and agree to play very slow here, because if we're playing positionally well, so yeah, I think, by the way, there are endless positions you could choose to take this fight from on Ana. So if we're coming from here, well, maybe if you know your team is going to engage, you could play here and look for like some sort of weird flank nade or something. Granted, they have a Widow Zen Doomfist, so it might be a little risky, but a little fun scrim things to go for. We could play from this corner, even though that Zen is firing here. Let's see what happens. So you got booped by the Zarya bomb, jumped up, and walked back into a shot. So yeah, I think you were maybe trying to walk back so you could like get this corner. I think you could also play this corner. This one might be best for really everyone involved. Um, just because like if Doomfist comes in here, it's not like you're firing like into wide space where like you might be hard to hit. Like there's only so many places you can come from right here, mainly from the left and here, or from behind. And because our Kree is with us, well, we should probably be safe. We also don't LOS the Zen, the Lucio, the Zarya, the Rhine, or Widow, which is really, really important from this position, because we want to let our frontline do that for us. I think playing slow was the call here, though, because what we want to do is try and force them into a bad position. If they make some sort of positional mistake on the Rhine, on the Zarya, on Doomfist especially, with just a Lucio Zen healing, well, we probably win, like, fairly easily. But we just have to play patient. And how did we die on Rhine? Let's see. Take a sip of my raspberry tea. Slightly sweetened, and it's very good. So, it looks like we're posturing. You might be asking, are you ready? Or ready to go? So, we're going up front. Swinging, swinging, swinging. But we get discorded and die. It's a shame. We had shield too. Yeah, I think there's no rush. No rush. Yep, we had a full health's worth of shield and it just disappeared quicker than you think it would because of this guy and that woman. So when you're playing into a Zen and you don't have one, of course you have to be careful about where you peek. A lot of it is not just trying to kill Zen outright, but trying to pressure him into places where he's sort of ineffective. Which is kind of what we want to do with the entire team here, in my opinion. And what I mean by this is, say, let's pretend it was a world where we're holding our shield up here, and we're taking a fight main, and Widow's just kind of sitting there, maybe shooting shield to be somewhat useful in the fights. Everybody's firing onto the Rhine shield, and finally we can break it. Maybe then, like, we can have our wall back, so we could try and wall either the Zarya or the Rhine close. Doomfist will want to engage at that time, at which point our Kree can probably deal with him. Because if he's going to try to engage, he's maybe going to try and punch this corner to get one of our tanks into the wall. Or to get one of us into the wall, who are not the tanks. If we're pushed up. It's unlikely that he'll come from anywhere else unless he's going for a flank. Ah. I wonder if they're doing maintenance. Because it seems that my Wi-Fi is good. So, anyway, I think that it's more important to try and like I'm saying, forcing them into a bad position, just waiting them out. You know, we have plenty of sustain and stuff like that. Like there's really no problem or no argument to be made that they can like out sustain us because they're on Lucio Zen. I think let me just restart here. Yeah, again, I think that that really is the case. Hmm. Yeah, it looks like my internet just went out really quick. That's no problem. Because fortunately, I can continue the analysis from here. Let's see. So I wanted to talk about sort of, just taking things slow and understanding your comp from the point of whatchamacallit, from the point of the individual, because those things are really important. We work as a team, as six, and that's really important, but it's also equally important that each individual member that makes up the team is good and comfortable and knows what's up. So I think it's important to sort of be on the same page, like as a team, of course. So you want to sort of have a plan and go into fights with a plan. Um, like I said, let's see. Okay, so it looks like it's coming back online. So entering fights with a little bit of a plan. And I was told that we are going to be doing something with like rotations. What am I saying? Um, Potentially like drills or something like that. And if you're unfamiliar, drills are basically kind of like scrims, but just with more of an objective. Like the objective of scrims is practice, and that's, well, it's kind of easy to say, but like how do you really practice? Well, you have to work on the things that you're not so good at. How do you know that? Well, you got to sort of jot that down. Watch your gameplay, and I will be happy to help try and identify some of these things and help fix them. But really, scrimming in practice, it's a crazy little thing. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Let's see. The best part about being a coach is that I can only offer
Welcome to
guidance.
Blizzard.
That's
We're ready
also the
for
worst part
battle.
of being a coach, because I would love to play these matches for you guys and try and do the best I can to promote communication and stuff, and I think that would be very fun. Let's make sure I'm capturing that. There we go, yep. Looks good. So, yes. So I was starting to talk about sort of the responsibilities of the individual. So, yeah, you know what? We'll do it from Doc's perspective. And he made some sort of thing about the Discord or in the Discord the other day where I was saying something about the everybody being so good, and he was like, except Doc, he's an idiot. And it's like, no, actually, I let's just say an idiot wouldn't have been able to have blocked that one shatter in that Junkertown game, because I saw that. That was pretty nutty. So the responsibilities of the individual. At this point, we probably only scouted the Doomfist, maybe the Rhine Zarya. Did we see the Widow on the way in? We did see the Widow. So now we know 4 out of 6 members of their team, and a Zen there on the left, and a Lucio. So now we've seen them all. Just based on watching their little bullets, Zen's orbs, like these little Lucio frog sound whatevers, we can see literally all of them. And it's important to gather this information because, like, in the moments we're sort of focused on, like, well, let's just get to point and then we'll see what I can do. But when we're in rotation here, we should be thinking about, well, I know they have a Doomfist, I know they have a Widow. Where can I play to not get picked by one of them? Because ultimately that's their goal. Widow's like the ultimate pick hero. If you're out of position, she pops your head and then you're done. And same with Doomfist, except when you're in position. he just destroys you. Which is such a shame, right? So, let's think more about what we need to do here. Well, we need to be making sort of a plan, especially if we're on the tank line. We need to try and see what we can do. So, whatchamacallit, at the beginning of our games, and I hopefully we've gotten into good enough habits with it that you can see from the games that Topaz and I posted, the casual ones. Whatchamacallit, you're just playing some games, and when we start off the games, we try to identify members of the enemy team so that we just know what's up. Cause like if they're running Ryan, Zarya, let's say I don't know McCree, Ana, Lucio, and then they have like a Bastion, like that's highly unusual. And we have to find out, even if it's usual, we have to find out some sort of plan, if not for a team, but if not as a team, but as an individual to deal with this. So as a team, our plan in this scrim was to try and run in and get a pick on the Rhine. It didn't really go so well. We did a speed hard engage, but it was sort of split and the focus was off. As well, our main source of healing died, which is unlucky. So, as an individual, how can we account for this? Well, if we're Ana, we know that the one person they want is you. Both Widow will want you, and Doomfist especially will want you, and the rest of them will do anything they can to sort of get to you. So as Ana, it's our sort of responsibility to play to live as long as we can, and to play to live. So what I mean here is there's really no need to peek sort of so wide. I mean, I think this is even a bit I would go for this peak, but I'm also a very greedy player sometimes. I think we should probably just hug the corner and wait till our team is living proof that the area is going to be safe for you to walk in. So no walking past shield. I just want to see some nice corner play. Kind of like how you're gonna play now. There we go. So now you're not going to take any damage most likely, except for maybe a stray Zarya bomb. Um, and you're waiting for your team to engage. Now ideally we're sort of if you're here, you notice now that you have to cross this entire sort of sight line in front of the lot of them to get to a better, well, a better in my mind position um, of playing right here. So I think we should stay. I think we should be just a little more patient and let them take the fight. Just play the corner. Let's see. So I'll use my camera to act as if I'm with you guys. So if I'm on probably yeah, going here, peeking really quick, and then I'm just gonna wait here for us to engage. Because chances are, if anybody, the only place I can be attacked from is from the flank, which I can hear, from top, which I can hear, and if they attack from top, well, my McCree, my Mei, and my Zarya are still here, so chances are I shouldn't die. And that goes if Doomfist or Widow is up there as well. So, playing here, wait till Ryan. Ryan has already taken like one sort of peek, so he should be fine. Now I'm gonna peek right now to make sure that he's gonna do okay. And with this, there's two targets in front of me that the Widow can aim at. So chances are she might not shoot me. This would be a good time to sort of crouch walk or to crouch spam walk over here. But it was an unlucky first fight. So at that point, when we lose our main tank and our main heals, a lot of our main stuff is gone, ergo we sort of lose. It's unlucky. So now that we have the information we do, what should we, what's going on for one, and what should we sort of be planning? Well, when our team dies like that, I think there's no, first of all, we should just wait for them. There's no advantage to pushing out up here, because if anything, it takes one Widow shot to kill you. It takes 3 Widow shots or 3 Ana shots to kill a Widow. Um, so there's no real point pushing up. I like this waiting for them. Just wait out of line of sight, don't have to take damage. Very nice. So, a couple of us are coming back now. And now, what should our plan be? that push, in my opinion, wasn't really good enough proof that we can take a brawl against them, because it wasn't really like the prettiest brawl. We sort of split on their Reinhardt and their Doomfist with three of us, and then just got picked off in between. It was sort of weird. So if we're going to brawl, we have to choose a target or two, who will probably be the front line. If we can get their Rein and their Zarya out of the way, chances are the rest of them may be easy picking, as long as we're playing cover well. So if that's the case, then we have to stick to this sort of plan and understand how to play that from each angle, or from each player's point of view. From the tanks, that means when a Mei wall goes up, or just when you have the health and the risk, I guess. No, I'm not really a tank player. You can sort of safely go for swings on the tanks. As a DPS, that means looking to try and zone out their DPS. Just, firing, like, you don't have to hit headshots on the Widow. You can just pepper her a little bit, Make her scared, especially on the Mei too. Widows hate Meis. Aside from that, just disabling Doomfist when you think he's near. Which is a really big part of keeping your supports alive, who keep your tanks in the fight. Who will make space for you, the DPS, to find some value. That's sort of the circle of life. So, Splat's going in alone. Our Lucio found the Doomfist, but we should call it, because now things could get ugly. So, if you find Doomfist, I actually kind of like dueling Doomfist as Lucio, because theoretically you never have to get punched. If you're decent enough at wall riding, you can avoid almost anything as long as you're not on the same like height as him. So like here I can get punched, but here no can do. So anyway, taking a duel if Doomfist is inside of here is actually really good for you, because the nearest place he can punch you off of is like this statue, and though highly unlikely, it is possible to die there. So just be careful. But now the problem is, Doomfist is engaging. Let's see. Fortunately, our DPS gets bursted down and we probably lose our Lucio. No, good. Okay, now we just need to play slow. So, as the main tank, if you're feeling uncomfortable in these positions, I like it from Volatile to sort of go forward, but it looked like you were going forward to sort of rotate in the tempo of the fight. Like, to keep the pressure on, as your Ryan regains heals. Well, unfortunately, there's really no one there to do it with you. There's no one target to be shooting. Guess the Lucio. Let's see. Let's watch this sort of at a slower speed. Fortunately, that was a pretty good wall to gain us some time in the fight. But we're sort of out in the open. And Ryan's taking damage, so we want to go bubble, get some charge, or not. So this is... Oh, unlucky. This is sort of the fight that I was hoping we'd take. Nice dodge pebs, just be careful. We need to be watching these angles where the DPS not only... We know they are, because we saw Widow grapple up here, but we also have to watch for Doomfist, who loves the flank. He's such a pain, man. Well, what are you gonna do? Just avoid him and he'll be okay. So, that's another fight. Take another sip of my tea as we respawn. Oh my. I hope you guys don't hear it going down my throat. Like, it always worries me when I drink on these mics that you'll just hear fluid, and that worries me. But if you do, so what? I'm drinking tea. Let's see. So they beat, we wall, and it looks like we're going for a pick on the Rhine. So let's think. We are probably going to get the Rhine here, maybe. what we need to do is be careful, because this is where this is where things get weird. Because what these guys are going to do is they're going to sort of extend the fight so that their Widow or their Doom can get picks on you guys. It doesn't really matter that the tank line is alive because they're a constant pressure, but what they want to do is play for picks on the Widow and the Doomfist on our on our entire team. So they're using beat. The next thing they might use after beat is, well, oh, at the same time I suppose, is Transcendence. So they're really trying to make this fight last forever. This is a fantastic beat, by the way. Very good. But now that things are ironing out, we need to have a plan. So it's easy to lose focus or lose sight of our position here after all this crazy stuff has happened. We used an ultimate, they used both of their support ults. If this says anything to me, this says we pull back, regroup, and try and push again better with Shatter and with the grab that we're going to get soon. So if we're splat, there's no need to swing. We just have to sort of keep track of where we are here, because I think it's critical that he survives as the shield of our team into the Widow and the Zen. So wall, they do the ults. We're grabbed right now, and we see sort of where we are. So what we need to do is sort of, there we go, try and make it work. We should be walking back into our team instead of forward, because all this damage isn't going to be able to, you know, be followed up on without the proper safety, without Pebs watching you, without a bubble, without speed. So what we should do is regroup, ask if we're ready to push in again, and then push in. Really, it's just about, you know, just playing slow. You don't always have to rush, you can go with the flow. And it seems that this might be winnable. We have to take out the Zarya though. Zarya is my #1 priority in this fight, because she's annoying. I think you could even sail up and destroy Widow if you'd like, but that leaves our Mei to sort of her own devices.
60 seconds remaining.
No longer winnable. Unlucky. So yep, especially as a support, things you have to do is just play slow, you know? Think about your game, not just the team's. Because ultimately, they don't live if you don't live. They can't move if you don't live. So it's important to think more, well, a lot about your own safety as well. And once you have these sort of positions down, which I really think those drills will help with, um, once you get sort of your positioning down and knowing how to survive as economically as possible, like, oh, that's unlucky, then you can sort of really play for others. And I guess that's that. Wow, these VODs are cut so short. So overall, I think approaching the team or approaching fights with a plan is a big thing that I want us to start going through. The drills will help with that. Thinking more on the individual side of things, knowing not just our role, because knowing our role sometimes means we want to push past that. We want to sort of deny my supportness so I can do damage, or damage players might want to deny their damage so they can do more damage, or maybe stop people from getting the support. But what we have to do is sort of be realistic and evaluate, well, how can I just play just the best I can, you know? The best I can for me, for my team. For me, and then my team. And then again for me, because believe it or not, it folds back on itself, that little process. So, let's see. I am not sure where else to go. Let's do, we're about 30 minutes in, and I've covered some good stuff. I want to do a shorter map if I can. Busan is not a short map. It's at the end of our scrim on the 2nd. Let's see. Gibraltar, I hate Gibraltar. Volskaya is probably something we can go into with a plan. So let's make that the theme of this analysis. Huh? What? Oh, I see. So,
Traveling to Volskaya
yeah,
Industries. Ready for battle.
I love seeing this comp. I don't know why. It's just something about like, I don't know. Just the McCree and the May makes me happy. Oh, I see different players. Intriguing. So, yes. So,
Attackers incoming in 30
we have
seconds.
Volatile on the Lucio. This will be interesting to see how another Lucio plays. And this is, I just love that. Having more player play the same role so that you can sort of learn off of each other. And fortunately, it's not a competition. On a lot of teams I was on in the past, it was always a competition. Who's the better Ana? Who's the better Lucio? Who's the better Zen?
5,
It's no problem. All you have
4,
to do is learn.
3,
At the end of the day,
2,
they're your teammate, whether
1.
you're playing or whether you're not.
Attackers incoming.
So it's important to
Defend
support them.
objective A.
So I'm gonna do this, let's see, just from up top here. So we have the Mimicry comp, they have Rhine Diva, they have Hanzo Kree, so they want to sort of take these high grounds on you guys. That's what this says to me. They want to try and brawl, but they want to take different angles to pressure some of you. Like, Diva's gonna probably come up here when she gets, if she gets a chance, and boop Arachnid off, and it's gonna be not funny. She's also gonna try and eat a lot of Peb's healing, so you have to play more positionally sound. Let's see. Oh, I like this though. I like that we boosted him up here. Doc up here. That's it. Keep calling him Arachnid because that's the name I see in game. Because he could just do that. He's like a Widowmaker, but not a Widowmaker, and with a stun. So, ooh, what a close save. Let's see. Yeah, I think these guys are literally just worse at brawling for this reason. For this specific reason right here. Yeah, she better take off her glasses because it's not a vacation when May's around. So what we need to do is, I I can't deny that I do like seeing that. Um, I like to pull back more and be patient. Like where Pebs is, like this is perfect for me. But ultimately, you guys decide how you play. As long as you communicate it. If you want to be really aggro, you can be it. Just don't expect a lot of support if you're not saying I'm going in. And the same thing. If your team is just dusts you and choke because they're speeding in but they didn't call it, like, well, you're on a sort of left in the dust now or something. So communication is key. So Lucio is looking to boop Ryan in. I don't really know what he hopes to accomplish. Well, we got flashbang too, so we were probably just dead there anyway. What can we do now? So it looks like we want to just stand strong and hold choke. We're gonna need to play this corner, and they still might run in on us. Um, Lucio's gonna look for some crazy boops here, hopefully. Yeah, we need to be on speed for Azaria there. I can't see if we are. Yep, now heals, good rotation. Oh, we almost had Lucio there. Unlucky. Yeah, so as soon as we lose our main tank in this fight, it's sort of over. Because that invites them sort of like... Ultimately, it's Reinhardt who says a lot about like these angles that they take on the team. Because if we're playing close, and Reinhardt is shielding their off-angle Hanzo or off-angle Diva, there's really not a lot they can do. Fortunately, when we lose that, we lose the ability to sort of kite that damage on the front line. Unlucky. So how might we have saved that? Whenever we would like to. Ah, let's go back. Okay, so they're getting ready to engage again. Don't know what that is. It's a micro missile, just won't know. Let's see. So it's important to try and not allow this team any room in this choke. Because if they do have room, then they will quite literally, you give them an inch and they think they're a ruler, if you've heard that saying before. Because Hanzo's gonna go up here and eventually go up here, maybe even top left. D.Va can just go there anyway, Lucia will accompany them, and ultimately they're looking to take the high ground from you and sort of walk in on there, or from there. Unfortunately, we get stunned on the front line. I don't think there was much you could have done here. I think we just got stunned without our shield, but I'm not sure. Because they look for the boop. They look for... So McCree rounds the corner really quickly. He flashbangs what would be above shield, and we just get punished for it. Which is unlucky. Yeah, there's no reason to swing unless Ryan is close, in my opinion, in this comp. You swing when your shield is low and you're rotating to this corner for cover, I think. But aside from that, when you're looking at a bunch of DPS players with guns and you have like a hammer, it's kind of like trying to like beat up a sniper with like a cheese stick. It's just not gonna work. Yeah, because D.Va gets free fire on you, literally everybody. And then this happens just because we're not shielding, which is unlucky. I just think we have to measure that sort of aggression, you know? So unfortunately, there's not much we could do after that. They get A. And how do we play B? Also, if you'd like to know, a good tip for tea if you like sugar in your tea to sweeten it is to mix vertically, so up and down as you stir across the cup, not in a whirlpool sort of motion. Because as a whirlpool, the sugar crystals will fall to the bottom and dissolve there. But you want them to dissolve in the whole of your drink, so you have to lift them up so they can dissolve fully. And they fall down. It's like a gentle snow. In the meantime, unfortunately, this is the risk associated with this high ground. Hanzo and their own McCree can do things. He's going on the rotating platform, which I I can't help but laugh at. They're just gonna want to try and push really hard here. There's not much more we can really say or do here. This would be a massive grab if we do have follow-up, but we have to be careful. We really have to be careful here. We have to keep freezing the D.Va. So I like going for Ryan, freeze the D.Va. Nice, and now we have to be careful of the McCree who's over here. So the rest of your team is trying to chase the Ana, but this is why I think we play patient. We get excited that we won the fight and that there were kills and we want to keep chasing Ana, but if Panda is calling that there's a Kree here, which he should be, we need to help. Fortunately, Doc comes back in time to do such a thing, and we're able to even get the kill on the Ana, which I commend you for. My goodness, that was really well played. It's just because me, as a player who plays like these snipers and stuff, I just want to stay safe, and I want my team to be safe. So I can't help but worry. Let's see, oh, that peak is sort of scary. You should have been on the May wall if you wanted to get up there, because that happens. Unlucky. Yeah. I understand why and how and the wonders of this position when you're up here, but if you're not there by the time that the enemies are sort of coming in, you should just give it up. If anything, you could come and play rotate crates or whatever that is, play from the left side like usual, and maybe you could even try and take the long way up here. But there's no problem. Oh, that's unlucky. That's unlucky too. So he's going for the dumb thing, and we literally don't have to LOS him. Yeah. See, it's kind of like Scrimfist, like Doomfist and Scrims. These guys always have the dumbest strategies to like try and do things. And I don't mean to discount it, because it got one of us. But it's just so tacky. Going on the on the rotating platform for a kill. But even from a plain position like this, we see how this hubris can be punished. Oh, that makes me laugh. That makes me happy. Oh, we get one more. This is a frag movie. Now we gotta go for Diva, and now on. If there's just no way she lives. Oh, that was very, very funny. So, yeah, a big thing I'd like to see going forward to anybody who watches this is learning to get some consistency out of yourself, out of not just yourself, but your team as well. So, rotating to knowing your spots and being willing to rotate and get creative with different locations is something you can do once you know your spots, you know? So, getting familiar, getting yourself comfortable with that is really important. So, like, if we're gonna set up here every time with Doc, for sure, that's wonderful. But once we get consistent at that, well, we have to sort of figure out ways to get him up there so that he doesn't get diva'd, like bulldogged like he did here. You gotta figure out positions for him to play when he's not on the high ground, just as an example. We could boop Lucio into the team and it would be hilarious here. But yeah, trying to get things down some consistently. Because that consistency, even if you're doing things consistently on an individual level, like amping health at the quote unquote right time when you feel is right, maybe shielding more as we're taking these fights, positioning well on DPS or something. As you get more consistent with this stuff, it just becomes wonderful because then you can introduce different factors. This is kind of scary for that reason, yeah. They're bottlenecked here. This is really good play from us to keep them in this sort of bottleneck. But now that they've broken free, we need to take cover ASAP. Nice shield, nice shield. There we go, we just gotta keep walking back. What's Lucio gonna do to you? Yeah, if anything they should be worried about that. Oh, so many beats getting cancelled today. Wow, wonderful job. I can't help but laugh. No need to push up so far. Yeah, what you don't know is Zarya's about to tell Hanzo a great secret. That could have ended a lot more poorly. Yep, so looking good. That last fight was very good. Lucio is on the verge of death. Nana doesn't want to peek him. So we trade some DPS. What we need to do now is they have no little ability to contest high ground on the Hanzo, which is really big. We just gotta keep him bottlenecked in this choke again. They don't eat the thing. Oh, that's unlucky. We were just sort of scared of not LOSing the high noon and the thing, and the bomb. One approach that you could take to this is actually moving in front here, so let's get them up again. See it. Instead of moving back with the bomb, what you can do is... I see. What I was going to say is what you're trying to do. Just move a bit more to the left, possibly. Unlucky. Yep, that was a good exchange from them. I liked how they sort of freed themselves there. But I don't dislike anything that we did. Let's see. Splat ends up in, like, I don't even know, Indonesia. We're getting desperate. I wouldn't use one of the ults there. Let's see. So obviously it's very panicked and like we lost our fist, but our Ana's back now. There's no need to worry. At least in my opinion. Oh boy. Flamed.
30 seconds remaining.
And one more fight. It looks like the VOD actually finishes on time. So, oh, that's unlucky.
10 seconds remaining.
So, I just want to take Ryan here. Ryan or Diva, or Ryan and Diva. But we need to build a Shatter, because that's going to win us this fight. We need to get the Ana. Ryan will be killed by one of us who's closer, but we need to get Ana first, so they can't heal. Either that, or blocking her healing with a shield is really useful. And now Hanzo just gets cannibalized by Mei. There we go. Look at us. That was pretty good. Let's see. Oh boy. I think this whole drill thing is gonna be fun though. Let's see. Up to almost 50 minutes, 51 minutes I mean. I think that's pretty good to call it. So takeaways from sort of this review are making a plan, trying to get more consistent and ask ourselves more questions as individuals. And not only that, I feel you, Hammond. Not only that, achieving more consistency and then getting variance. Which, don't worry about that stuff. That'll come in time. Especially now that we're drilling more. That excites me. In any case, thank you for watching this. Hopefully you could glean some stuff from this. It wasn't really world-breaking analysis, but it was more talking about what we should be thinking about in the mid-fight, in the heat of things, in these battles where we sort of tend to lose focus. That's going to be my priority from now on, is building up some of our mid-fight stuff. And we're going to do this by, I plan to do this by um, promoting these like individual sort of thought patterns or practices and things like that. And hopefully we can all achieve a good level of individual consistency as well as team consistency. So that excites me. Um, Now, again, thank you for watching. I'll post this hopefully soon. And yeah, enjoy. Enjoy your day. Hopefully you can stir up some tea like me and have a nice morning.